We just heard from Gavin Newsom in his State of the State, and it's more of the same. More of the same partisan back and forth and problems not getting solved. But first, we need to recognize that mostly our policy has been on the wrong track, and that over the 8 years of Gavin Newsom, we've mostly stayed in entrenched policies that have made Californians' lives worse. We have to reform and change those policies if we truly want to see something better. The common theme, of course, is affordability, which he has done nothing to address in his 8 years. No cost in California has gone down. They have only gone up. California families are paying more and getting less. And no matter how much the governor polishes his speech, affordability remains the real issue facing California. Most of the stats that Gavin likes to constantly cite are meaningless to Californians who are barely staying afloat. After 7 years in office, the only question that really matters is this: are we really building what's right? Are you better off than you were 7 years ago? And of course, the answer for California families is no, because we've stayed in these entrenched policies. He mentioned the fast food increase, wage increase, without mentioning the 18,000 jobs that we have now lost in our fast food industry. For all the talk about wealth inequality, he oversees, as governor of the state, with the largest gap between rich and poor in the nation. So maybe your policies aren't working, Governor, and maybe it's time to start admitting it. Education is not just about money. More money spent on education that is not getting the job done and has our kids near last in the nation doesn't mean that you've established progress. Climate policy is a financial risk in this state. We agree there should be a good climate policy that reduces emissions in this state. But all that Gavin Newsom's climate policy has done is increase your electricity bills, increase your gas prices, far beyond measure, and the cost of pretty much everything else. And meanwhile, we've had devastating wildfires because we've failed to make the investments that we should have been making in wildfire management that have put millions of metric tons of carbon in the atmosphere. That is a failure. It is a policy that has not worked. We must change course and reform. Our government, under the one-party rule that defines the Newsom area, the partisan vitriol, the fighting President Trump all the time without actually getting results on issues, is the very policies that are hurting Californians today. We must invest dollars that actually reach the classroom, not just line the pockets of union bosses and bloated administrator salaries. We need reforms that actually make sure our kids are performing and they're reaching their dreams. And let me say this about young men, because I think this is a goal that we both share, the governor and I. But if you want young men to become successful, you have to teach them to actually be men and not to persist in woke liberal nonsense that the governor has championed. Governor, if you're lamenting that men can't ask women on a date, it's because you told them that that's harassment, that that's toxic masculinity. We do need to be investing in our young men, and we need to raise them to be protectors and providers. And I am absolutely ready for that mission. We can and we will do better, but only if we change course and we begin a new third way of politics here in California. I welcome that opportunity and will be working with people from all walks of life here in California to make it so. Thank you.